Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. Before I get to my guest, do you hate me? Are you a Russell Hantz hater? Do you think my social game is shit and I'm overrated? Well, here's your chance. I'm going to do a podcast with a Russell Hantz hater. That's right, one of you guys, or maybe even two. Tweet at me and I'll pick one or two of you to battle it out with the actual king of Survivor on my podcast live. Sandra, you're ineligible to apply. Or how about you, Laura? I'll take you on. But I warn you, you come at the king, you better have your shit together, and you better not miss. If you haven't signed up for our Patreon group, do so now. We've got lots of new content, including audio commentary for Survivor Samoa, weekly episodes of Whining with Wine, and new episodes with Brandon as the host. Go to patreon.com/Russell Hantz. You can be a member for as low as $5. Today we're bringing a Big Brother All-Star and Survivor, well, a Survivor could have been All-Star, Mr. Caleb Reynolds, aka Beast Mode Cowboy. Caleb is one of the most polarizing players in Big Brother and Survivor history, but for different reasons than most. Normally, people love to hate you if you're a villain. Well, Caleb isn't a villain. He's a nice guy. In fact, he's one of the nicest, most humble people you'll meet. And some people hate him for it too. Well, my mom loves him. Caleb almost died his first season, and his second season he had to deal with a bunch of fake game changers with pre-game alliances and his best pal stabbing him in the back early. Caleb and I talk about Big Brother and Survivor and the difference between playing both. He is the most unique person to talk about those shows because he actually played both. Here's my interview with Caleb Reynolds. What's up, Caleb?
What's up, buddy? All is well, man.
So Hayden was the first person to do it, and then you did it. I talked to Hayden for a little while about it, and he never really gave me a straight answer. Maybe I can get one from you. When you played Big Brother, and that's two totally different shows, but kind of the same in the retrospect, what is the difference between the two? Which one was harder? Physically, strategically, all that. Can you tell me about the difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just playing both games, Big Brother was more of I'm living in a house during a summer. I've got unlimited amounts of food. I've got air conditioning. You're hanging out with people that are just fun. You're just there to have fun and enjoy it all, but yet play a game at the same time. Win competitions, win challenges, and just do your best in the game, right, and make it as far as you can. Yeah, being on slop sucks because you don't get to eat what everyone else gets to eat, and sometimes you might have to lay on a hard bed, or you might have to
right.
Sleep in a freezing cold room, or stuff like that. And then you got Survivor. Survivor, yes, in retrospect, they are the same game. You build alliances, and you want to get to the end of the game. You want to win challenges. You want to do all that kind of stuff. I believe that a big difference is Survivor, you start off on tribes, obviously, and you have to work as a team to get as far as you can as a tribe. That way you've got numbers and all that stuff moving on like that. That is one of the differences. In Big Brother, you're one against everybody all the time. Right. You don't start off with, 6 people and you guys work together to win challenges. You play challenges all by yourself, and, it's up to you to win or lose. If you win, you're the HOH and you're safe for the week. Or if you lose, you're in jeopardy of going home.
Right. So in Survivor, in Survivor, you can get like a gang of 6, and you can take that 6 and win and get to the end. Basically, final 5, you could have your people. In Big Brother, it's harder to do something like that. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and in Big Brother, you kind of, again, you start off by yourself and you kind of build your own team. The problem is, and the same thing, it goes, the same thing with Survivor later on in the game. Once you have merges and teams join and all that stuff, then you're kind of flip-flopped around. It's kind of the same with Big Brothers. you could have an alliance like I had with the Bomb Squad, but that alliance had other alliances too. So, Big Brother, you have to build your team from scratch, and it's kind of the same as Survivor. You can't trust anybody, but you have to trust someone because you can't get to the end of the game by yourself.
Right. Yeah, I watched your season when you played, and I can remember that you were, because I was watching the live feeds, and you were either widely hated or you were widely liked. Why do you think that was the case when you played Big Brother?
Are you talking widely hated by the other people playing the game?
No. I'm talking about
the
people on the outside viewing the game. Like,
outside?
they had their opinions of you. I can remember you were one of the big ones, kind of like Cody is now, that people had their strong opinions about.
Well, I can definitely say there was a couple things that I said on social media before even going into the house that TMZ and other people, viewers, blew out of proportion. But, I went in not very much liked. Everyone thought I was a homophobe and I hated gay people and I was a racist. And that's me going into the house day one. That's the persona that everyone got from me, and it kind of went back from the Erin deal with Erin. She was from the South, and she did say a bunch of racial things.
Right. Hers was 15. Yours was 16. Your season you played. Hers was 15. That was they dubbed that as the racist season. Yours was right after that, right?
Exactly. So, with her being there and being that, and then I come on, granted, I did say a couple things on social media, but it wasn't about racials or it wasn't about, hating anybody, but that's what they turned it into. So going in, I was hated. I believe the difference is with me going in, everyone was like, he hates gay people. Well, Frankie was my number one alliance member. So that made no sense. So I scratched that. And then,
I don't believe
going in, I'm no, completely not. I love everybody. And I think everyone, knows that now, especially with being really good friends with Frankie, then going on and playing Survivor, then being a really good, best friends with Ty. I think all that stuff is squashed now, but, and then, Devin was one of my other alliance members. And then I had a little crush on Amber and she's mixed. So it's kind of like, wait a minute, you guys got this guy completely wrong because it's, his first two people he got close to in the house was, a gay guy and a black guy. So I think you've got him wrong.
Well, I don't
Cody,
know why
on the other hand, now.
Go ahead.
I just feel that Cody now he's doing all that to himself. He's the one that's being the arrogant one. He's the one that's causing the issues now in front of everyone. I think that's the difference. I wasn't like Cody in the house. Now, although, I said my stuff, I talked about, if I was good at something, and the big thing is, for the most part, I'll back it up. But I think Cody's kind of painted his picture himself, and let the world see who he is by his actions and me. I think I kind of changed the minds of people through my actions based on the persona that I went into the house with.
Yeah, and it seems like every time somebody like Cody, like for instance his strong personality wins the first HOH, they think they have the game in hand. They think that that's all it takes. So I got it now, and it's almost the fans of the show that watches it. They're like, hey man, there's a whole summer you got to play here, and it kind of rubs them the wrong way.
Yeah,
I've never played Big Brother, so. I've never played it. I've always wanted to play, and it's one of the games. That's why I'm so, you played what I've played. You played Survivor. You got to play Big Brother too. I've always wanted to go into the house and see what the big difference is. But one thing I know that I wouldn't want to do is I don't know if I would have to study more into it, but I would think winning the first HOH challenge and you're a alpha male, that it's a negative thing.
Well, I would say this. I've been in Cody's footsteps. I went in and I won the first one. For one, I hate to lose. Losing to me, it hits my pride like crazy. I hate to lose. And I won the first HOH of the summer on my season as well. And I thought to myself, because I was hanging on that spit, and I thought I can let someone else win, and that could automatically put me up to go home, or I can show everybody here that I'm worth keeping around. I'm worth,
Mm-hmm.
putting, building an alliance with. Man, this guy's going to win every physical competition of the summer. If he's going to be winning these, I might want to join teams with him. I might want to join an alliance with him because he is so strong at a lot of
Right.
these challenges. And that's kind of the persona that I thought about putting on was, look, I'm going to show everyone here no one's beating me in challenges like this, in competitions like this. I get both of them mixed up because I've done both, and the recent one was Survivor, so I keep saying challenges.
Yeah.
But
Do you think that it's best not to though? Would you give if you was giving someone advice? Would your let's say it's a twin of yours, exactly the same style, type, body shape, everything. Would you give him advice not to win the first one? Like right now, what advice would you give him?
I would probably say I think the big deal then was the battle of the block. With the battle of the block being in place, it actually is meant to make the weaker people go home first. Big Brother is really all about, man, the strongest person's got to go home, and that's what Big Brother's always been about. Is all the strong players normally go home fairly early because they're intimidating. People are afraid of them winning all the physical challenges, but also Big Brother, a few years back was all about physical challenges.
Right.
Like my season, we only had like 4 during the entire summer, 4 or 5. The rest were all mental. And, I do believe that I would probably tell him that if there was a battle of the block, I would probably say, probably what I was going to do, but I didn't. I was going to hang on to that spit up until the last minute and let 1 or 2 people be on, and I was going to drop. That way I could still show everybody, man, he hung on. He was right at the end. He's still a strong player, but this guy over here must be stronger. So it puts a bigger target on his back.
Right.
And that's probably what, if my advice wouldn't be, dude, show him what's up, dude, go in there. The problem is if you got to battle the block though, my answer would be different because the battle of the block actually saves the stronger people because it's about, you want to put the weakest team up to lose. So it's kind of, it just depends on the twist that the season throws you. But if you have a strength, I say you play your strength, maybe not all the way, but, go in there. If you're a tough competitor, show them that you're tough, but maybe not show all your cards right up front.
Right. How did you prepare for it? Like you was on Big Brother. So how did that all start? Like how did you apply for it?
I applied for the Amazing Race with a really good friend of mine. They were doing a blood versus water or some type of brother-sister teammate deal for Amazing Race. Well, the girl that I applied with was literally like, I called her my sister. Her name was Jamie, and she called me her brother. And we just kind of known each other for several years, and we just wanted to apply together. She kept telling me, Caleb, you got to be on TV. Caleb, you got to be on TV. And I've heard it several times before her, but I didn't understand why. And then Jamie just kind of opened my eyes to a lot. And she's like, people need to see who you are. People need to see your personality. So I was like, all right. So her and I sent in a video for Amazing Race. And then I got an email and it was like, hey, I want to, we have a show for you, but we're not, she's not your real sister. So we can't put you on there, but we have a show for you.
Right.
They didn't really I guess they didn't really care about her personality, but they were interested in mine. So they were like, hey, Big Brother, we're looking for a guy just like you. Will you play? And I was like, well, I'm going to be honest. I've never really watched it. I've seen it and I've browsed through it, but I'm not a super fan of the show. And they were like, I don't care. Like, go back and watch a couple of episodes and let me know if you want to play. So I went back and watched, and I was single and just living life and being me. And I was working at Lowe's, a few years after my deployment, working at Lowe's, and then they called and they were like, hey, you were on the show. And I basically just kind of made it on Big Brother.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that your beautiful wife is pregnant now, and I seen when she was 3 months pregnant, she won a fitness, or what was it, second or third in a fitness contest?
Yeah, she at
That's
3,
insane, man. How does that happen?
Yeah, a little over 3 months. Ashley's I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a gift or if it's just it just how God creates people and human is her uterus is actually tilted backwards, so she doesn't show early. You know, there's a lot of I guess it's normal,
Right.
but her belly doesn't start pushing out that far until later on in the pregnancy. So,
Wow.
you know, she consulted the doctor, and the doctor just said, don't cut your water and, you know, don't diet down too much. And she just took her spray tan on the stage and got 3rd out of 9 being 3 months pregnant.
That's
So
pretty.
she
Did they know she was pregnant?
Sure. There were several people there.
The judges? Did the judges know?
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 judges that knew, but
That's pretty impressive.
You know, not everybody. Only 2 of the judges I believe known, and there's like 7 or 8 judges. But you know, she didn't look it.
No,
you know?
no,
I mean,
she came
wasn't
3rd.
even showing. So
yeah, she did. I seen the pictures. It was crazy. I was like, wait, she's 3 months pregnant. It was pretty amazing. So,
I know, man.
If you were to say which game is harder, or let's say your daughter grows up, not 18 years old, she's 18, she wants to play a game, which one would you want her to play?
I'll tell you what. If she grew up, I answer your first question first. Which one's harder to play? I'm saying Survivor's harder to play. And my reasoning is I've played both.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a blast for your first couple days in Survivor, your first
Right.
your first week, you're just, but after that, it's not fun anymore.
It's not
your
fun.
fun leaves the game. Yeah. I mean, no, I mean, when you reach to the point when you're 9-10 days with hardly no food and I mean, it's a tough game. Yeah. It's strategic. It's mental. It's physical. I mean, you're basically literally stranded on an island and you have nothing and you have to create something out of nothing. So not only is your mind wrapped around the game, but it's wrapped around survival.
Right.
And when you think of survival, that alone in itself is hard to think about. You have to build things in your mind. You have to get food, with your
Right.
bare hands. That's the stuff you have to do. And in Big Brother, it's the refrigerator's restocked. Go grab you some grilled chicken
Right.
or steak or tuna. If you want a beer, it's in the refrigerator. So it's, it is a lot different. But if she grew up and she was that type that loved the outdoors and
Right.
loved woods, loved building things with her hands, and I would say, hey, if you think you got it, if you think you got what it takes, go play Survivor.
Yeah.
If she was 18, 19, Big Brother, I'm thinking showmances now, because it seems like that's all they put on
Yeah.
there is they want people to make out and it's almost like Party Down South now.
Right.
So it's switching up a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing is with Survivor, the people like you as a competitor, when you go out in there and you play that type of game and you're 150% all in the challenges and you haven't eaten in 3-4 days and you haven't had any kind of nutrients, you're barely drinking any water, then all of a sudden you do this challenge, and that's exactly what happened. That's what happened with you when you was on Survivor, your first challenge, or not your first challenge, your first season, you went down, and you went down hard. And I can remember, dude, I watched that one. Now, I'm a huge Survivor guy. A lot of people know who I am in the Survivor world. And I watched that clip at least 5 times right after it happened. I got my kids to watch it. It was so dramatic for me because I knew behind the scenes type thing. So I would press pause
Right.
and say, you see what's happening there? This is what's going on here. This is what's going on here. I seen the doctor's fear in his eyes. I seen fear in Jeff Probst's eyes. And, when I seen that, he's like, Jeff's freaking out. Those are real things. Those things are happening, and we're watching real dangerous stuff happening right off the bat. And, when you went down, when did you come aware of I know you was out, but when did you come aware that you were not knowing what's happening? Like, when did you come to? Was you off in the helicopter, or what happened?
Yeah, I pretty much, I woke up once in the helicopter. I very vaguely remember that. I woke up and I seen Dr. Joe's face, and that was kind of it. And I was pretty much out again. And then the next thing I remember was waking up in an ambulance with a bunch of people not speaking English, and they had medical masks on their face.
Wow.
And that was pretty much when I woke up for good. And that's kind of when I had no clue what, where, and when, and why. And I kind of freaked out. You know, I woke up and seen these people that weren't there at the challenge with me.
You mean to tell me they didn't have nobody? They didn't have nobody that you actually knew in the ambulance when you woke up? Like nobody that you can relate to?
Not at all, man. I thought they would have put Dr. Joe in there with me, but they put no one that knew English inside there. And you know, I spoke to Jeff about that before I played the second time. You know, I basically said, you know, I've got one thing that, you know, bothered me, because he asked me about it all, and I said, how come you didn't send anyone that knew English with me in that ambulance? And they said, you know, thank you for bringing this. You know, they were glad that I brought it to their attention for if it happens again. That's what they need to do.
Yes.
Because I guess, you know, it's never happened. And for me, it was, you know, especially being a veteran, you know, and being deployed and stuff, the first thing I literally thought when I woke up was, I'm legit. I'm captured.
Wow.
None of these people know English. I've got an IV that's orange in one arm. I've got another IV in this arm that's like a bluish tint to it.
Shit, man.
I'm like, I was like, what are these? And they couldn't answer me. So I grabbed it and I was acting like I was going to pull it out. And I was like, what is it? What is it? And they couldn't speak, but they said, the only thing the guy could say is, it's okay. American doctor at hospital is all he said. American at hospital. And when he told me that, it's okay. It's okay. And so, you know, it really did. It was a terrifying moment.
So that's the first thing that went through your head, that you were captured.
I literally thought to myself, this is the real, I woke up and I seen mask above my face, and I heard different languages, and I sit up in the bed, and because I remember I woke up like I was just fine. Right. I woke up and I knew no one in the van, and I thought, what is going on? Where did they get? Like, how did they get me?
Wow,
man, was my first thought.
That is crazy. That's like a trauma.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was rough, man. You know, after playing a game as hard as you can go, and the next thing you know, I did feel myself start getting dizzy, and I did feel myself breathing very hard and panting, and I remember falling on the ground. After that, I don't remember a thing until Dr. Joe's face, like almost a blurry Dr. Joe's face, and the helicopter ride was over 2 hours long.
Damn.
To the ambulance.
Wow. Oh, yeah, man, that's crazy.
It's
that's
the real
traumatic,
deal,
man.
You know. Yeah, it was. When I got home, I was emotionally, I was emotionally damaged for a little bit. I had to take a bunch of medications, and you know, not just for my, you know, psychiatric part, but my stomach liner had melted, and I had to take some stuff for my stomach to rebuild itself, and I was dang near dead out there, man. It was rough.
Man, that's insane. Yeah, so we just had, matter of fact, talking about something like that. To me, that's similar to PTSD type situation. And they just had an evacuee that quit the game. She quit or / taken out the game because of PTSD. It was Megan, and I did an exit interview with her. And a lot of people, you know, some people even on the internet is making fun of the situation and acting like it's not something that's real, or acting like that it didn't happen to her. And the thing is, with me, you cannot say that, okay, she quit the game, or, you know, she didn't have PTSD. Like, when that stuff hits you, like just now, you was in an ambulance, not knowing, you know, you playing Survivor. Next thing you know, you're in an ambulance. When you open your eyes, the first thing you think is back when you were fighting for this country. You know, that's the first thing that came to your mind. So with Megan, they're hollering at her and you know, and bullying her constantly. I don't know if you know the situation, but, you know, she left the game because of PTSD. That's what she claimed. And I have to say that I agree with her. And, you know, things like that can trigger things like that. And I don't think that They have a few people right now, that make fun of her and say she didn't have that. She quit because she was weak or this or that. I think they need to relax a little bit, because I believe her, because I believe at that point in time, that's what happened to her, because you can relate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know what you're talking about. Although I don't have live feeds, I didn't see any type of bullying. Although that's what I heard too. But I also heard that the reason all that started was supposedly she had told a couple people some lies, and they started confronting her in front of everybody, and those people started basically calling her out on her lies.
Right.
In the game. Now, as far as her PTSD, if she was throwing out a bunch of lies in the game, and all of a sudden people just started calling her out for it, that's pretty much what I had done with Devin in the backyard. I mean, we kind of got into it in the backyard, and
I remember.
People confront people all the time in that game. And the thing is, if she was being bullied for real to the point to where she thought someone was going to beat her up, that's one thing. Tell production that you don't feel safe in this game. But again, just like you said, if she's got PTSD from being bullied or being beat up or whatever it might be, that's nothing that we can control. If she's got that and she goes and tells production, hey, I'm having issues in here, I'm having flashbacks of when this happened to me before the house, I understand. And if you in production feel that it's best for you to leave the game, by all means, leave the game if that's how you feel.
Right.
I don't want to solely give it all to PTSD.
Right.
There's so many different forms of PTSD out there. There's so many different forms. So I definitely won't say that she doesn't have PTSD, because obviously if she says she does, she might. Right. And if she does, they handled it right. Or you can look at it the other way, obviously not making fun of her like some people are, because that's shallow itself. But, if she just got called out for lying to a couple people and she just got caught, not only that, she was already on the block that moment too. So it's kind of like, I'm going home anyways. These people, it's like, hey man, we caught her in a lie. We called her out for it. She's already on the block anyway. So now she's just wanting to be a little crybaby, right, and blame it on PTSD and go home. That's how some people could be looking at it too. But
they are honestly looking at it like that. But the thing is, what if it is? What if it is PTSD? Then you're the one that looks like the butthole that's saying that she's lying about it. So that, for me, that is something. When somebody fights for this country and then they say they have that, I have to believe them. Because there's an honor to fighting for this country in the first place.
Right.
And I don't think,
was she a veteran?
Yes, she was a veteran. That's what it was from, she says.
Oh, okay. Well, again, especially people in the House, they're all looking at it how they want to look at it, because they still to this day don't know why. They're locked in the House. They don't know.
Right.
So they just think, well, she must have just quit. She couldn't handle it. Well, I guess we bullied her too much. And, but, if she did, by all means, then you got to take precautionary measures for stuff like that. And the same thing goes with Cody in the House. Yeah, Cody being a veteran, the last thing you want him to do is flip his lid and hurt somebody,
Yeah, I did an interview with Megan a couple of podcasts back, and she said that I think it was Afghanistan, that she was, what she did was worked in a prison. So that I don't know, because I haven't been there. You see, so you can tell me, is it rough in that type of environment?
I worked in a prison in Baghdad. It was one of the roughest. They actually all went to one prison. We had about over 4,000 detainees, and they were all called the majority were called blue suitors, and they were on death row, and they were the ones that has killed a lot of people.
Like you terrorists. You're talking about straight terrorists that y'all had to. I'm
talking about the real deal. Saddam Hussein's generals and the people that straight cut heads off every day for fun. Wow. That's the guys that we dealt with in the prison. And you deal with these guys hand in hand every day. You're in their face every day. they're constantly making remarks about how many, Americans they've blown up or they killed, or, hey, these sets of Marines that were hanging from the bridge, blah, blah, blah. I was in charge of that, and you can't do nothing about it.
Wow.
That stuff you do deal with every day, and they're right, man. They have more rights than you do, and there's nothing you can do about it. And, it's kind of, you have to hear this stuff all day long. And, I could see, where she's got PTSD from it.
Yeah.
People take all that stuff differently. People handle things differently. Now, I don't have PTSD to that extent to where people, if they're yelling at me or calling me names or bullying me, and, nothing reacts in my head, but I'm different than her,
Right.
So, she could have went through some stuff over there that none of us have the right to judge for PTSD if she's got it or not.
Right.
I will say this. I do know within, going through the casting process and medical for Big Brother, they do test you for PTSD, and they do ask you if you've ever had PTSD, if you've ever failed PTSD checks and all that stuff. So if she's got PTSD, somewhere in all them dockets and medical stuff, she's had to say she had it. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If someone looks at a doctor and says, hey, I've got severe PTSD, I don't think they would put you on the show.
Right. She told me that she did tell him that she had it, but she thought she was cured of it, or you could handle it. And her mother, she said her mother was worried about her going in the show. And you see, man, all that stuff you just told me about when you were there at the prison, that, to me, I can completely understand how somebody would have some sort of PTSD with that environment. And then all of a sudden she's in a house, stuck in a house and can't move, can't leave, and people are screaming and hollering at her. And, she can't even go to any safety spots. She don't even get time off. So I get it.
And I think that's what made it hard on her, was she was locked in a box with people, and you can't get away.
Exactly.
It's not Survivor where you can run on the other side of the island and take some time to yourself. This is a game that you are completely locked in a box. It looks huge on TV, but it's not big.
Right.
It's just in a U shape. It's not a big house, and you have no safety nowhere. The doors don't have locks on them. Well, other than the HOH doors locked, but other than that, if you can't go outside because they're building the competition, you're literally in a box. And when someone's yelling at you, the only place you can go to is to production. And that's probably what she did, was went to a safety. Right. She went to the only spot for safety, and that's what she did. And, I definitely don't think that's anything to make fun about or any of that. Now, I definitely know, I think it's the first in history to ever happen. But, I mean, it's one of them things. Again, we can't say if she did or not, or if she was just, if she just couldn't handle it. I don't know what it was, but if she says she has PTSD, that's, especially being a veteran, the United States military, that's definitely not something to say she's joking or lying about.
Right. Okay, man. So now we're getting back to the most recent thing you've done. Well, actually, the most recent thing you've done is Candy Crush. What did you think? We'll get into
right.
What did you think about that, man? I have to say, I did get the call, and it just wasn't a fit for me to do that type of show. But I could see how you would be. You're more fun. You have a different type of character than I have. I could see where it would be fun for you. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, man, I really did. It was fun. Although I don't want to say too much about the behind the scenes, but it is, you film it, you do have a live audience there and all that stuff. And we did run into a lot of malfunctions.
Well, it was the first first season, right? I mean, it was the first thing that they've done, so it probably had a lot of quirks that they had to get out.
There's a lot of kinks. Exactly. And it would be winning one of the challenges, and then one of the TV screens would go out. And then it'd be like, all right, we got to start all over. So
that sucks.
And then, then we would lose. So then it's like, oh, this ain't fair.
That sucks.
And then the time where Frankie and I were doing the big screen, half of the time I couldn't even touch the screen because them ropes had me so far away, because I don't know if anyone could notice if, they saw it or not, but we weren't in control of where we moved from the board.
Right.
It was already put in the system to take us wherever it wanted to
Right.
take us. So it's not like, hey, I see a match, let's go over there. It was there's a match over there, but it's taking us over here. So,
Right.
again, there were a lot of little things about it that I didn't think were fair, especially due to some of the Survivor people that were laying on top of it and were, it just kind of, if you were on the vertical wall, which Paul, Devon, me, and Frankie were, it was harder for us. And I think everyone saw that the
Right.
vertical wall was much harder and less, it was just an unfair advantage.
Maybe they'll fix them
the
quirks
boards on there, but
yeah, hopefully they fix all that up, all that quirks, because right when it's a new show and all, you have things that can't be controlled, and all of a sudden it's not working right. And all that good stuff.
Exactly. But I say this, man, I have fun, and to me, having the viewers watch something that's fun and enjoying watching it, that's really all that matters. You don't always have to win. Having fun sometimes is perfect.
Okay, so game changers, man, game changers. This is a big question here, and I've talked about. I don't know if you've listened to my podcast, but I've talked about, and I'll be straight up with you, what I've said about you and the whole cast with Game Changers. When it came out, I've always said, I'm like, Caleb's a good player. I think he should play again. But when it came out with the name being Game Changers, how did you feel about that? Because you're an honest guy. I mean, were you like, wait, what? Game Changers? I mean, how did you feel about that?
I completely did. Obviously they called and made sure that I was healthy. And they're like, hey, we got another season coming up. We don't have a name for it yet, but it's season 34. We'd love to have you back. And I was like, man, let me discuss this with the wife and let's see where we're at. And, so we honestly didn't know until we were there, like a couple days before we even left to play. We didn't even know what it was called because they didn't tell us. But obviously when it was called Game Changers, Jeff literally asked me. I remember it. He said, do you know why you're a game changer? And I said, honestly, no, I don't. I was like, I don't understand why I'm here with all of these 2-time winners. I'm here with other winners. I'm here with people that's made it to Final 3 twice. I'm here with everyone that's made it a lot further than me in jury every time they played. Why am I here? Because I went home day 9 with a heat stroke.
Right.
Like, I don't understand why. And obviously Jeff has his reasons, obviously ratings and whatnot, but, he gave me an answer, and it was basically just, we've never had anyone give it all they've got and almost kill themselves pushing and pushing and pushing. They were like, you're a one-of-a-kind athlete.
Just to be fair, they had Russell from my season that pushed until he passed out completely, and the big black boy, a good friend of mine, he passed out, and, that happened to him. So what I think happened, man, I think a lot of matter of fact, almost every single one should have been on another season. And I agreed with it. But when they named it Game Changers, I think that was a huge mistake. I mean, a huge mistake. They should have named it something else because everybody's questioning it. Not just you, Caleb. They had even the winner, Sarah. They questioned why she was back. Haley, why was she back? Brad, why was he back? I mean, they question a lot of different contestants, and I like all of them. I think all of them, besides Haley, maybe should have played again. I definitely thought you should have played again, but I just didn't understand the name. When y'all were actually playing the game, was that an ongoing running joke?
Definitely. I do believe it was mentioned a couple times throughout the thing. I wouldn't say so much more of a joke, but it'd still be like, me and Malcolm would get together and we'd be like, why is so-and-so a game changer?
Right.
Like, I even told Malcolm, I said, Malcolm, bro, I don't know why I'm here.
Right.
Look around us, bro. We got Tony, we got Sandra in the same 2 winners in the same tribe. I said, why am I here? And, he gave his explanation, but, we would joke around about it here and there, but, I don't know, man. I guess production, ran out of names, so they just thought of one. I'm not sure.
Right. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about what happened in the game. Mostly all our viewers watch Survivor, more Survivor than Big Brother. I'm trying to get, listeners. I'm trying to get the listeners to listen to me on Big Brother as well. But most of them, since I'm Russell from Survivor, it's a lot of Survivor fans out there. So my question is, with Ty, like, if the situation was reversed, would you have got rid of Ty the same way he got rid of you?
I would say this much. If that's something that, when it comes down to the game, to what I know how it happened was I tried to get Ty to flip Debbie. I tried to get Haley.
Right.
Like, we tried to do something to get us enough numbers to send Sierra home. Because that was my only option. I didn't want to get rid of Brad because he was going to help us win challenges. So it was kind of like, man, what can we do, Ty? And Ty kept saying, we're good, man, we're good. And, the last thing, even before Tribal, was like, dude, you're good. You're not going anywhere. I knew he was lying to me. That's why I had my whole bag packed. I was ready to go. I knew it. And afterwards, after it was all over, I was like, Ty, like, why, man? Why could you? He said, they literally told me that if I didn't write your name down, that I would go next. And he said, I have to protect myself in the game because it's so early. So when it comes down to that, I get where he's coming from. He's the only one that wants to vote for me. And they literally say, if you write his name down, or if you don't write his name down, we're going to send you home next. Heck, I would have done the same thing because, it's your life and it's an individual game. And, that's sometimes when games happen like that, you have to do what's best for your game. And at that moment, writing my name down was best for his game.
Yeah, well, I want to give you the chance to defend this. What they showed and what I watched, the editing, it looked like when you were going home that you didn't even fight to stay in the game. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Nowhere near it. The edit that people got, what they saw was nowhere near what really happened. They didn't show me looking for idols. When we came back from that challenge, I looked for idols for at least I can't even remember how long. I looked for idols that entire day, before the challenge, after the challenge. Just because, that all those guys, I was pretty much by myself. Haley had played with Sierra before. They were close. I could see that as soon as they got there. And I kind of felt like, man, I'm good with Ty, but, Ty is very much a flip-flopper. He'll stab you in the back. And I thought, he's probably so good in with them guys. So I literally wanted to look for idols early anyways, just in case. And, it's kind of, I looked for idols and they didn't show that at all. And then when it came to Tribal, I remember I was yelling. I was so into it. And, they're trying to tell me why I should go home. And, Haley or Sierra's like, well, Ty was at your wedding, and I'm thinking, okay, Ty went to my wedding. That's cool. Over a year ago, Ty was at my wedding. We're playing Survivor. Why should I go home because he was at my wedding? And then I remembered Haley and Sierra underneath the shelter talking and reminiscing about the matching tattoos they got after their season. Wow. So I stood up and I was like, you know what? I think you should go home because you and Haley have matching tattoos from your last season. How about that one? So just little stuff like that. It's kind of, I stood up and defended myself, and I fought to the last second. I stood up and said why Haley should go home, why I should stay. And even Jeff Probst said it. He goes, wow, Haley, like, Caleb is literally laying it all on the line, telling what he'll do and why he should stay. And you're just sitting over here quiet. And, Haley was like, well, Jeff, it looks like I just beat him to the punch. Or, whatever smart stuff Haley normally tries to come up with. And, they cut out all of it.
Dang, that's crazy.
And so, so what I'll say is they didn't. You can ask Ty, you can ask anyone that was at that tribal council. What they showed was not, it was 20% of how that tribal actually really went.
Right. What do you think in that game, in Game Changers, how do you think future relationships, outside the game, veered that game of how it went?
I would say this. I know, everyone talks about pre-gaming. And then there's several people that say, don't pregame, don't pregame. I would definitely say that the friendships that were outside of the game, those people that were friends made it far close, if not together, very far similar together in that game.
Right.
I do honestly feel that if you're really good friends with people outside this game, and not just one, but like 3 or 4 or 5 people, I think in the game, if you've got that emotional attachment to those people, I think they will probably stick to you as far as you can go. And I think that's kind of what Jeff was trying to do this season. He tried to flip it up so quick and fast so many times, that way you couldn't. But when you're friends with everybody that's playing, I mean, it's kind of hard to separate you and who you're playing with. So I definitely say friendships outside the game, if they play together, it can definitely work to your advantage inside the game, unless you're tied.
Right. Yeah.
Because again, he came to my wedding and I had an emotional attachment to him. I mean, I just don't invite anyone to my wedding. I mean, I thought he was a buddy, like a friend, and I don't call anyone friend. And and he didn't do enough. I don't feel like he'd done enough to keep me safe. I mean, he could have done more. He could have gave me an idol.
Right.
He could have at least told me to my face, "Hey man, you're going home tonight." Even that is better than lying to my face. And
right.
So it can help you, I guess, if you have that friend. But if you don't,
did it hurt your feelings when he did that to you? Did you feel like you were personally attacked by like a friend of yours?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone knows who I am now. I'm just a laid back guy, man. I take it just like in Big Brother. I helped Derek and Cody get all the way to the end of that game.
Yeah, you did.
Whether people see it or not, I helped them due to every time I won, I never put them up. I helped them get there. And then the last minute, I got stabbed in the back. What I do, I shook their hand, gave them a hug, and told them good luck at the end. And, and that's kind of how I've always been. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve. And, now granted, did it bother me a little bit? I was thinking, because I knew he was going to do it. I knew what was going on. I knew. So for me, it was kind of, I was already emotionally ready. I was already expecting all of it. I mean, I was already standing up before before the votes were even read. Like, I was ready to go. And,
wow.
It bothered me because, again, pre-gaming, he literally told me, I got your back to the end of this game. I will not write your name down. I promise you. I put it on your wife's name, everything that he said.
Yeah.
And then,
wow.
Push come to shove, you get shoved into a corner, that you don't know what to do. And then it's, hey, if you don't write his name down, you're going next. So, I get it, but you can't let that stuff get to you in that, because you got to think Survivor is a cutthroat game, and there can only be one winner. And, so I would be careful about friendships outside the game, playing inside, because
definitely
you could possibly ruin a friendship if you're not careful.
Right. So, man, do you have any projects you got going on? Anything you want to talk about right now? Or that you can talk about?
Not really, man. I've just kind of been laying back a little bit. Obviously still doing my fitness thing, and I'm waiting on my little baby to come in December, and just trying to focus on family right now. Honestly, on family, and we've got our own stuff that we've got going on.
Have you thought about competing?
Stuff, and
are you competing yet? Are you going to compete pro?
I was going to go to compete for my pro card about 3 weekends ago, but I ended up, I was just thinking that I wasn't where I wanted to be yet. And so I'm just going to take about six more months off and work on myself in the gym. And, we are our own worst critics.
Right.
And, at my last show, I took second. And when I took second, it was a humbling experience. And I thought to myself, man, I need to take a step back.
You took second in the pro card?
No. I took second in the show to go get my pro card.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I don't know if the listeners know. I don't know if the listeners know, but it is an honor and privilege to have your pro card. You are some of the best in the world once you get to that level.
Yeah, when you get to that level and you get your pro card, it's for one, it's tough to get it. It's very hard. People compete 10, 15 years and never get their pro card. I mean, it's tough, but I'm nationally qualified to compete for my pro card. So I've already got to that level to where I need to be, and now I just need to take that next step. And I just, I'm going to continue working on it and work on myself. And then when I feel like I'm ready, I'm going to go for it and do it that way. But I don't really have anything going on, man, outside of I've got a couple people wanting me to do a short film in Nashville.
Right.
It's for a big competition short film festival thing. But obviously I'm trying to give back to the kids and do as many charity events as I can and help as many people as I can with the following that I have and do good with it. Honestly, but outside of that, it's kind of more about other people and less about me right now.
Right, of course. That's a good thing, man. Well, that's a nice thing to hear. We, even myself, we're so privileged of what we've been able to do, what we've been blessed with. And sometimes the less fortunate, it's good to give back. It's always good to keep a steady head and know that, that we need to help others always.
Oh yeah, all the time, man. So it's kind of where I'm at, man. I'm just living life right now, enjoying my summer off, and just trying to pay attention to the chaotic Big Brother house during this summer and seeing all the craziness going on.
Right. All right, man. Well, I sure appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope everything's good with you and your new wife, your fairly new wife there, having a baby. How many months is she now?
Yeah. She is going on, she's right at 17 weeks.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure you'll be posting pictures. Sure you'll be posting pictures of the baby and all that good fun stuff. But man, I sure appreciate you coming on the show though, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And
last minute thing here.
Hey, it's all good, man. I enjoy talking to you anyway. So just talking to you, I feel like I'm just talking normal because normally when we talk, it's about Big Brother Survivor anyway.
Right. All right, Caleb. Well, I appreciate it, man. And you have a good night, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, man. Well, that's Caleb. I appreciate him coming on. We've got more Big Brother 19, American Grit, and Survivor episodes coming your way this week. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends to listen too. See you next time.